So yesterday I got sent an email from Waves to say they've basically come up with the AI equivalent of Splice. And rather than plan this video out, I thought I'd just dive in and see what it can do. So they've called it Illugen, and basically it's like every other AI. You kind of type stuff in and it does stuff for you. And in this case, it makes audio files. So you got one-shots, loops, and effects. And depending on kind of, I guess, how long those samples are, it uses a certain amount of credits. So if I go into the loop here, for example, it says 2 credits. Now, as part of the trial, you get 20 free credits. I've used a couple up already, just giving this a quick try, but it does look like you can purchase extra credits. So it's kind of along the similar lines to Splice, really. I think you get 100 credits a month for about the same price on Splice. I don't know whether that's kind of worth it. I've got to see what the quality of these are like, but I'd say Splice was a better deal because you have expert curators, people who are experts in making samples, making stuff for Splice, whereas here you've got this AI kind of system, and I guess it will get better over time, but it still won't be as good as a professional at making proper sounds. I could be wrong, let's give it a try. So let's try something simple like maybe a snare, EDM snare with large reverb. Let's try that. So it actually gives you 3 different samples for that 1 credit. That's not too bad, I guess. I suppose this one works quite well. I mean, I wouldn't say that was a large snare, and it's got 0 reverb on it as well. Let's get Ableton up and see what that sounds like, because obviously I think this might be previewing it at a lower rate within the browser. So let's see what it's like once we've downloaded it and get it in Ableton. Let's see what that sounds like. It's quite interesting, actually. Usually I've used a few of these AI kind of generators in the past, and they tend to not be able to do the kind of higher and the lower frequencies, but this looks quite full across the whole range. Let's try something a little bit more complex. Let's try an aim-in style break, and let's do it at a different speed. So not a drum and bass speed, let's try a breakbeat speed. I think these might actually be usable. Let's try. That's actually not too bad. Let's try that other loop. The transients are kind of almost merging into each other a little bit. It's not quite as clean as you might want it to be. Might be good as like a texture loop within there somewhere, but like it's not as strong as that first one. There's some examples down here, and I noticed this one that said about a church choir. So I wonder whether it's any good doing like kind of vocals and stuff. Say male rapper, spoken word, says, bring the beat back.
Bring the beat back. Bring the beat. Bring the beat back. Bring the beat.
Bring the beat back. Bring the beat back. Bring the beat back.
Bring the beat back.
That's an interesting one. I'd rather have it dry, but I didn't ask for it dry, so let's try coming up with a chant. Group of people chanting one more tune.
One more tune, one more tune, one more tune, one more tune.
Interesting.
One more tune, one more tune, one more tune.
There's like guitar and everything in that one. It's like it's been ripped off something. Let's try that one, see what that sounds like with this break. Let's try some atmospheric stuff. Let's try an atmospheric pad. Let's try jungle. Let's try a genre jungle pad in E minor. This will be interesting to see whether it can kind of differentiate genres. I'm wondering whether it's going to actually see jungle as a genre or whether it's going to see it as an actual jungle, like rainforest jungle. A lot of kind of fragments now, I'm not sure about that one. Not quite getting it. I'm guessing it doesn't know what jungle is. Let's try the same thing, but let's put drum and bass maybe. So yeah, it's not recognizing drum and bass as a genre, it's adding drum and bass into the sample. So yeah, that keyword isn't working. I mean, I wouldn't mind that loop if it didn't have the drums in there. In fact, let's just download that and see if I can just EQ those drums out. Probably won't go with this, but let's have a go. Let's try some piano to go with that. Let's just try, I've only got 4 credits left. Let's try some Lofi Piano in E minor, long legato chords. Let's try that. Again, like every AI, it's what you kind of feed into it. So I'm guessing it's going to take a little while to kind of figure out what the best keywords, the best phrases to put in here to kind of get the results that you want to. It's a bit like using Chat GPT. You won't get the result that you want straight away. Once you understand how to use it, then you start getting the results out of it that you want. And it's got single notes and chords. Try that one might be interesting. It's really interesting because I said lo-fi, there's only just those mid frequencies in there. Barely anything in there at all. Let's see how it does bass. 2 more credits left. So let's try a Reese Bass in E minor. So that's a very specific type of bass noise, and let's see if that can actually get that noise. Be interesting to see what it's been trained on. I know this is not the usual case for it, and I know what Waves are going to say. They're going to say that it's not meant for doing every part of your tune. It's probably just meant to find that certain element to add to your tune. So I'm kind of using it in a silly kind of aspect here because I'm trying to make a tune with it. But it is quite interesting the stuff that it's putting out. I mean, that's a Reese bass, but that's heavy. I mean, it's so distorted. Yeah, I'd say that those are unusable. I mean, that's a Reese bass, kind of. It's got that kind of fluctuating kind of sound going to it, but it's just so heavy, and it might work as an effect, but as actual bass, that's not going to work. I have actually noticed they've got a thing in here called prompt tips. So obviously, just like ChatGPT and any AI, you kind of, they have got to give you some kind of idea of how to actually get what you want out of it. What's really interesting is this line here. It says, while describing technically detail usually works, it's not where the engine shines. And then in its first example here, it says 808 bass in F sharp. It says that that kind of prompt won't really work, and what you should really use is a prompt like this, a deep earth-shaking sub bass that feels like the ground is splitting apart. The only problem is with that is that you want a bass to be in a certain key, and if you're not giving it the key and it's not working off a key, then whatever you're going to get back is probably not going to work in your track. Obviously you can then pitch it up or pitch it down, but obviously that's going to degrade the sample. It's not going to sound as good, and for bass certainly that probably won't sound great when you're pitching it up and down. The fact that it says not to give it a key means it feels very unusable if you're doing it like that. Now, obviously I'm being quite harsh with this because this is brand new and it will get better. As all AI has got better over the years, I'm guessing this will get a whole lot better. At the moment, I almost kind of see it as a way of kind of being able to start ideas. So it might be able to come up with a sample that then sparks some creativity on your part. So you might be able to come up with a sample within here, maybe a disco loop, maybe some kind of atmospheric thing that then sparks some inspiration from your side. However, I'm still in two minds as to whether this can be used as a kind of technical thing. So when you're really struggling for a certain sound, describing it in here, I don't know if that will get exactly what you want. So for example, if you can't specify a key or it's not too sure on, working in certain keys, then that's not going to be what you want. If you go to Splice, you can filter their search results by key and you can look for a certain sample in a certain key. It's one of the simplest features that are in most kind of sample libraries, but you can't really do that with this. Having said that, the samples that have come out have been quite interesting. The drum loop was pretty cool. The group of people chanting, again, that was pretty cool. It's quite authentic actually. The fact it had that kind of rumble noise in there, it really did feel like a proper recording. But I think it's going to be very hit and miss, especially at the start. So I say I'm giving them plenty of leeway. It's not like kind of the best AI kind of sound generation platform that I've seen so far, but it will get better as all AI platforms do. And I'm sure once they kind of tweak it and get it working, give it 3-6 months maybe, and I think we might be able to get something out of here that's quite usable. At the moment, looking at that pricing, I definitely would rather put that money into a Splice subscription or a Loopmaster subscription, Loopcloud subscription. But it's certainly worth playing around with this and just seeing if it kind of works for you. It might just inspire you to something. So yeah, first impressions are kind of mixed. I would definitely play around with it. Whether I'd pay for a monthly subscription, not sure quite yet. I'm not quite sure whether it's quite ready and it's going to give me what I want. But the fact that you could prompt it to come up with, for example, a breakbeat that is totally copyright free, and it does sound quite authentic, it does sound like it's been ripped off a record, then maybe it might come up with something you want. But yeah, general impression is I don't know whether it's usable yet, but it will get better. So I'm kind of on the fence with it.